that are like literally leeches that are just trying to gain something from you. That's what Church had, and for a minute, a lot of people around him like that. He's still got a great circle of great people that's around him that he doesn't need me or anybody else. He's still got a great circle of people around him that are ride or dies and great people. But he's just, I feel like he's starting to slowly but surely get rid of all these the bad people. But you got to think, can you imagine if your music circle was Katie Noel, Adam Calhoun? Uh, I'm trying to think. I don't want to drop their names because that gives them fame. But if you think about all the people, that's pretty crazy that he had that was a circle of people. So,
I got a question, and you can not answer it because you don't feel comfortable answer it, or you
yeah,
can
yeah,
because it ties into something we've been talking about, an aspect of this.
sure.
When you went to go to up churches, did you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement?
Well, yeah, I'm not. but that's something I wouldn't even discuss either way, just
Okay.
because
Well,
that's
that's been a really prone thing that people talk about. Like, oh,
yeah.
he makes his friends sign NDAs, blah blah blah. But like, here's the thing: when that's a business. Like, he's
Yeah.
operating at a business at
But
that point.
I will say this: if I did or if I didn't, it wouldn't have been a thing that if I did do it and it was approached to me to do it, I would not have questioned it. I would if I was in his situation, I would have every person do the exact same thing if I was on a property that had a studio on the property. Does that make sense? Because
Yes.
that's you're coming into a business. You're coming into someone's home, but you have to understand that this is somebody's home that has to be protected by somebody that's not doing those to in any way to uh, pull the wool over somebody, right? It's more of a thing of I have to protect my family, I have to protect my
Yeah.
livelihood,
Yeah.
I have to protect my home, and it's more of a that kind of thing. And I would do it in a heartbeat if I was him.
Here's
Whether he does it or doesn't do it, I would be doing it if I was him.
Yeah, here's what we were talking about. Like, if you look at Ripa lately, like all the stuff Ripta's been doing, he's been, going and talking his shit, and you can obviously tell that that's a friend of Ryan's that didn't sign a non-disclosure agreement, right? And so, like, I believe these people were just his business acquaintances. So when they came to his house, like you said, it was a business. They were there for a business function. These weren't his friends. So when people say, "Ah, he's recording his friends," blah blah blah, those aren't his fucking friends, dog.
Right, right, absolutely not. Well, and here's the other thing too: is that not whether I speak on this or not is that uh, you can look at it that way, and you can also look at it as if Ryan was trying to, let's say, if he did have Rip to sign something at some point in time when he first came on the property, that just goes to show if Ryan doesn't go after him for slander or anything, that just goes to show that Ryan's not doing it for that purpose. It's more of a safety reason. It's more of disclosing information about his family, what's behind the gate, thing. That it's not a reason of ill will. You know what I'm saying? If you
Gotcha.
say something, I'm going to come after you and take all your money. It's more of a I have to protect my child. I have to protect my wife. I have to protect what I have here. We have to protect those things. But I was talking to somebody the other day because I've somewhat, seen this kind of stuff transpire on Instagram about Rypta and church. And I don't know Rypta well, but I know that the last time I was there, and this is something that if Rypta sees this, I've got, would have questions to him because I'm curiously, asking these questions. I know that Rypta has talked recently about, and I won't drop any names whatsoever. I'll be very respectful of what I say, but Rypta is mentioned many, many times about somebody now that he's in favor of and somebody that he wasn't in favor of before. And has talked really good things about, just said nice things about the guy, being a respectful guy and this kind of stuff. When I was there, the last day I was there, Rypta was very inhabit about, and this wasn't church wasn't involved in this conversation. Church was in the studio recording vocals back and forth with Kalani, and Rypta was inhabit about showing me this darn video that had this person in a very bad light, and I was like, he was looking for through his phone, and it was about 20 minutes. He was looking through the phone. He's like, I got to show you this. I got to show you what this guy did when he went off the handle. I got to show you this video. And while he was looking for it, he was kind of giving me a little backstory to it and like telling me what was going on with the video. And I was like, okay, yeah, it wasn't that I didn't want to see it. Hell, I'm curious at this point in time. I actually want to see the video. So I ain't in any way saying that I was like, no, man, I don't want to see it. I'm nosy. I was like, now you got my curiosity sparked. You done hyped it up so bad that you're like, you're not going to believe what this guy did, how he acted. He is a piece of shit, right? And so I'm sitting there and I'm waiting and waiting. He went through all his videos. Then somehow or another, he went through one of his text messages that he had sent somebody back. This was about 6 months prior, right? Finally found it, and he showed somebody else. I don't know. There was a couple guys in the room. He showed somebody else that was right beside him when he was looking. Showed them first, and I could hear the video myself. And it was this guy screaming and screaming and screaming and F this and F that, just going crazy, like just having a nervous breakdown screaming. And Rypta told the guy, he's like, I told you it's bad. I told you it's bad. And then he took it over to show me. And the guy was like going off the handle on the property. Like they were having to like threaten the police and like everything. God was going crazy. But my point behind it was the same guy that Rypta's talking about, like, is a real man and will look at you in the eyes and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, the stuff he was saying about that guy was crazy. Like, I mean, just literally, we're talking 2 months ago, last time I was there. And he was saying some crazy stuff about the dude. And I'm like, man, when
is the guy a Webble?
What's that?
Is the
I
guy a
don't want to
Webble?
say any because I don't want to say anything.
I'm
Who the
fucking
guy is.
with you.
But the guy was whoever the guy was. Rypta now is really talking great about the guy, and I'm like, how in the world? Like that scares me for Rypta, because I know Rypta will remember the situation, and I don't know Rypta. I ain't saying anything bad about Rypta because I don't know him at all. Like he sat beside me for hours, but he was working on carving of like a cross and stuff. Like he wasn't doing anything, so he just sitting there right beside me. We didn't really talk a whole lot, but he was very passionate about what a piece of crap this guy was, right? And how terrible he was. And last time he was at the ranch, they were threatening to throw him off the property, and he was belligerent and just going crazy. And I'm like, how in the world? When I heard him, that was my shocker, because that's why I want to always have an open mind when I listen to someone's story about somebody else. And when I heard him talking about Ryan, just like everybody was, no one's closed-minded to the point where if someone brought something about Ryan, they wouldn't be like, wait, what'd you say? So I'm curious. Well, no, tell me that. Well, I don't think any of us are brainwashed at all, where we're like, I don't care what you say about Ryan. It ain't true, right? We don't believe that about no man. I don't believe that about my own brother, right? If you came to me and said, I'm going to listen. I'm going to take my brother's side, right? But I'm still going to listen. I'm going to be like, what'd you say my brother did? Right? So the same with Rypta. I'm sitting there listening like, okay, what are you saying that Ryan did? What are you saying that Ryan said? What are you saying that Ryan kept from you? But then when he got to the part where he was up talking this guy that, to me personally, he was telling me was just literally the spawn of Satan, pretty much. I'm like, how in the world are you literally saying 2 months later that's a good guy, and he's a real man, and implying that he's a real man, but Ryan's not a real man? So that made me just question everything, a lot of what he was saying, because I know firsthand what he was telling me. And let me tell you something. If you know me, I'm not a shit starter, and I'm not a back and forth kind of person. Like I'm a level-headed guy, and it just wasn't. To me, it wasn't a favorable thing when I heard him talking so great about the guy.